Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Adam and today, well, welcome to Beast Quest Series 30 Beast Review. Um, so that's the first time in a while where I've done another Beast review, and today we're doing Series 30, The Shapeshifters. So Series 30 consists of 4 books throughout the series. They are Hyrax the Rock Smasher, there we are, Makoro the Blinding Stinger, Leptika, the Nocturnal Menace. No, the Nocturnal Nightmare. Just reading that through the camera now. And Selkara, Monster of the Depths. Now, as a summary on all of them straight up, by first glance, it looks, just on first glance of the covers, this series looks intriguing, because it has our new protectors in it with Rafe, Katja, Nolan, and Myandra in them. However, considering Series 29 was such a success with the new protectors, in my opinion, it was a great series. Series 28 was not a good series for them. Series 30, I think, is going to either make or break this decision for the Beast Quest writers on whether they think the new protectors idea is a good one or not. So I think this is a important series for the Beast Quest writers to get right, and hopefully it'll stick whether they think the new protectors should be the main characters now or whether it should go back to being Tom and Alina. Anyway, we're going to go through each beast one by one, give a rating out of 10 of design, abilities, and the fights that was in it. We're going to go over the total score for them, along with their personality, and just my summary on it, and what I think they could bring to the table in future tournaments of Battle of the Beasts, as that is the thing that I'm mostly known for on this channel. So, well, on these channels, because I'm uploading on both my channels, but on the archive channel, that's what I'm most known for. So, yeah. So we're going to start off with Hyrax the Rock Smasher. Design is a 7 out of 10. It's loosely based off a mythological creature. I don't remember the name that Lucas has said it is, but similar to a Minotaur, but it isn't. I can't remember the name of it. Lucas is probably going to remind me either on our next call or he'll message me after he sees this video. But yeah, it's loosely based off a creature in mythology. But to me, it just reminds me of the male male supporting protagonist in Kubo and the Two Strings. That's what that reminds me of. And that's not a good thing to say. I'm not saying Kubo is a bad film, because it's a great film. I'm just saying I don't know if I want to compare that to him. Abilities is a 7 out of 10. Nothing out of the ordinary. You got the normal strong charging abilities, but then you got the I believe it's vines. He can shoot out of his wrist like Spider-Man and use them to whip his victims or pull them into him. Other than that, nothing really much else to say about this one. And the fight is another 7 out of 10. Being honest, it was just okay, and it ended with him being trapped in what I believe is cement. So, a bit of an anticlimactic ending, and not really a great start to the series. The total was 21 out of 30. Summary is just an alright start. So the abilities has a good twist with the vines, but everything else is just average. making this probably a rather average starter book. Um, as for Battle of the Beasts, I think it will put up a fight, but I can't see it doing great in any tournament that it goes in. It's strong, it's got the whips, but I don't think it has any, oh, I'm going to win method to it. Up next, we have Makoro, the Blinding Stinger. Design is a 9 out of 10. I like the green on it, along with the pincers, obviously, having teeth inside of them, but also the tail and the whole scorpion vibe it gives is one which I do appreciate a lot and do like a lot. Abilities are an 8 out of 10. The It's got the abilities that you'd expect. It's rather, no, it's not agile. Strong pincers, tough armor, almost impenetrable really, and sharp scorpion tail. But also it shoots out a blinding venom which can blind his victims, take away their ability of sight. So that's quite good. Any other abilities? None which are stand out. And the fighters are 7 out of 10. It felt rushed, honestly, and it ended in what myself and Lucas predicted how it would end. So, predictable ending as well. Total is 24 out of 30. It's a great design and good abilities, but they are a bit generic. And the fight was very underwhelming. As for Battle of the Beasts, yeah, I could see Makoro making it into the round 2, maybe round 3, but I wouldn't be excited to see it go through to later rounds, because with looking at the covers, it's a book which you'd expect so much from, and for it to fall flat on its face in what is one of the most important parts of a book, being the action, that just takes away the whole hype around it. I'm pretty sure Lucas may agree with me here, but for me, if myself and Lucas read both of these books when they were released, rather than read one when it was released and read the second one when the other two released, I would not be excited at all for the next two books, because the start of this series was so average. I generally would not want to read the rest of it because I'd just be disappointed. Anyway, Leptica, the Nocturnal Nightmare. Remember what I said? Yeah, do a 360 on that and shoot it. Do a 180, shoot in the other direction. Yeah, Leptica has saved this series from being bad. Its design is an 8 out of 10. Not as good as Makoro, I'll give you that. I'll give it that. But I love the detail of the mane, the sharp claws, the wings, the glowing blue eyes. And it overall looks very nice, and you can tell where the resemblance comes from being a bat. The abilities are an 8 out of 10. You got the expected abilities from a bat being the loud screeching, the echolocation, the flight, the agility, the sharp claws. Then it has two unique abilities for it, where it can control a swarm of bats to fly into his victim's face and disorientate them, whilst she takes a step back in the sidelines to either regain health or energy or catch them off guard. And the best ability for Leptica, it's the hypnotic stare. If Leptica makes eye contact with its opponents, they are under her control. And I will put a disclaimer out there with Battle of the Beasts. The rules for hypnosis is going to be the same as the rules for mind control or blood control as it is in Doctor Who, where you can hypnotize anyone to walk like a chicken or dance. No, yeah, walk like a chicken or dance like Elvis, but you can't hypnotize them to death. Their will to survive is too strong. So, whilst that would be a good ability, the second that opponent gets hurt, they're knocked out of that trance. Anyway, the fight for Leptica, I need to give a 9 out of 10 to. It was action packed. It started in a confined area of the cave where it just collapsed. When Nolan busts out of the cave, just barely, then Leptica bursts through the rocks that she has created as a rock side. Then the fight just goes into a more open but dense environment, being a forest, in which Nolan then calls on the help of Alina. Yep, okay. Also, I need to point out Rafe and Katja did call on the help of Tom. Didn't do much. And Alina wasn't really much helping Leptica either, being honest. But anyway. Alina got involved in the fight as well. She got hypnotized, in which she shoots his Nolan in the arm. So the durability that Nolan is showing and the independentness is really sticks out for Nolan, especially because now it's him versus Leptica and Alina. Alina eventually gets knocked out of a trance after being knocked out, in which Leptica, instead of mind controls her again, calls out to Nolan, threatening her life if he doesn't come out of hiding, which is what you'd expect most monsters or villains to do. But for it to be done in this series, when I was already very disappointed in it, I was surprised because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be another boring beast. But no, it wasn't. I enjoyed reading this book. I was excited to see the next chapter. And if I remember correctly, the hostage situation has only happened 1 or 2 more times. Examples? I don't know. I can't think of any examples. So there's a chance it could be a solely original idea, in which good on Leptica. But it does show the egotistical side to this otherwise quite clever beast, using all kinds of methods to attack or torment Nolan, only for it to not really work. Anyway, the total for Leptica is 25 out of 30. It's a great design, and the abilities and the fight were amazing. But I'll be honest, it felt rushed towards the end. Like, we got most of the way through the book. It felt like a decent length. It didn't drag out for too long. It didn't feel condensed. Then we got to chapter 8, in which, honestly, it felt like I just blinked and I missed it. And I'm just thinking, wait, hold on. Okay, guess that is done then. I guess it's done. Yeah, I don't remember anything from that last chapter apart from Lenka getting away and Alina and Nolan returning back to Panaya. Yeah, I'm going to call it Panaya. But yeah, Laptika is the best book of the series so far. And as a overall summary on how I think she would do in Battle of the Beasts, I'm thinking Leptica may make it to round 2 in a tournament, but I can't see Leptica making it any further. I mean, I like a certain kind of beast, normally the agile, height advantage, the ones with unique-ish abilities, the ones which I think stand out in a way which they just pop out to me on a design perspective. But then you put them in a battle tournament where their abilities and their combat skills are tested, in which Leptica, I do not believe is going to last long. It's the same with all of them, really. I can see Hyrix putting up a fight, but he's not going to win. I can see Makoro taking a lot of hits, but he's not going to win. I can see Leptika dishing out some hits, but not going to win. But yeah, unfortunately, these three beasts, it started out okay, it got good, but in Battle of the Beasts, they're not going to do good. Selkara, Monster of the Depths, however, this is the beast that I think could do great in the tournament. This beast, design wise, 7 out of 10. Honestly, it was underwhelming, and I was not really expecting it to be outstanding. And I was right. I was not expecting it to be outstanding, and it kind of really isn't. Design wise, abilities wise, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. And that's because it's got the expected abilities that you'd have, but it does a good job at it. You know, it's got the agile swimming, the immense strength, you know, 4 arms. Where have you seen a piece like that before? Oh yes, Magro. Magro is a special which I really like, and Selkara having the 4 arms reminds me of Magro. And whilst I never really expressed my excitement to read Selkara, I'll be honest, I was a bit excited. And luckily, it was not a disappointment. The arms are what you expect with the sharp claws, the strength behind Selkara, and it seems like Selkara also has immunity to physical weapons like swords, axes, tridents, and all that. But a weakness, this is confusing. Arrows, like ranged weapons. So myself and Lucas then theorized, does this have to do with how long she's out of water? So a similar weakness to Convul and Okawa. It seems that way, but those physical weapons, hit Selkara when she was soaking wet, when she jumped onto a pirate ship. Speaking of which, Captain Claw, alright, quite a good character actually. I hope he returns. He's probably not going to, but I kind of hope he does. But they don't hit Selkara when she just jumped onto the boat, meaning she's soaking wet. Okay, that's fine. She then has shown to dry out at one point in which she slithers back into the river. Okay, so that's her weakness. That's good. We know her weakness. And then when she's in the water, Alina comes in, shoots an arrow, and it hits Selkara. Sinks into her flesh, hits. That is what confuses me the most about Selkara. So if you can't hit it whilst it's wet, how did Alina hit it when it's wet? Because whilst it seems like it's physical attacking weapons, I think it just has to be any weapon in general, because, you know, tridents, swords, and axes are always going to be sharper than an arrowhead. And the arrowhead hit Selkara? I don't understand. I really don't. But being honest, I'll have to get to this afterwards. The fight, however, is a 10 out of 10. And I give that fight a 10 out of 10 for the sole reason it was actually so enjoyable for me to read. Because it has the use of teamwork of pirates and Alina, an old man, and Myandra, hoisting this heavy, bulky, strong beast onto land for it to dry out and wither up. And after realizing they can't attack it properly, they're gonna attack it using their brains. Brains beat brawn. This is the example of that. And whilst Lucas may disagree with me with the score I'm giving it, at the end of the day though, this beast, along with Leptika, saved Series 30 for me from being a terrible series. But anyway, the total is 24 out of, no, not 24, 25 out of 30. It's an okay design with expected abilities, but done great. And the fight was amazing with high stakes, with a pirate ship called the Black Barracuda on the line. That went down. Treasure, most of it went down. And a captain that really did not care for his crew, which left. Um, Captain Claw got what he deserved, and best part is he didn't need to die for it. That's good. That's great. It's a great ending as well, being honest. I need to mention that ending. That ending, it left plot holes, questions, and so much more. But overall, I think it's just a great ending to the series, which left nothing but questions. But that side, it was a good one. The one question is obviously, how did an arrow injure Selkara, but a sword and trident don't? That's one question. Another one has to do with what's next for the series, because it ended with Tom and Lena and Queen Aroha going to Avantia. So are we like leaving the New Protectors, or what? Are we leaving the New Protectors, or we staying with them, and this is a way of us saying goodbye to Tom and Alina? We don't know. And even if it was, I would have preferred a actual, a goodbye from Tom and Alina rather than a simple shake hands with the New Protectors and swan off. But yeah, it just left so many questions. And then of course we got the oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Each time one of these beasts were defeated, a purple smoke rose out of the beast whilst they were transforming back into the people that they were, and went to the weapons of the New Protectors. It was found out in Selkara that this smoke originates from the Netherworld, in which it gives me reason to believe that the next series is going to have something to do with the Netherworld. But how that's done, I don't know. Will Tom and Alina be in it? I don't know. Will the New Protectors be in it? Almost definitely. But it is confusing, and I think I need to explain what I expect or want to see from Beast Quest afterwards when I finish this review, because I'm still nearly done. I'm not even done with it yet. But anyway, designs for the series is 31 out of 40. Rather average designs, with standouts being Makora and Leptika, but Hyrex and Selkara were underwhelming. Abilities are 31 out of 40. Honestly, a bland batch of abilities, with only a few standouts, but none spectacular. Like the hypnosis, yeah, that stands out. The blinding venom, yeah, that's good as well. They're not really spectacular though. They could be game changing, but I wouldn't say they're worthy of being considered amazing. No. And the fights were 33 out of 40. The first two fights were either boring, rushed, or predictable. Or maybe a combination of all three, being honest. But the last two were great, with an excellent finale, high stakes, and not as predictable of endings for them, really. Grand total 95 out of 120. Just an okay series, to sum it up, with some high points, most of them towards the end. But there are more low points than high points in this series. But as I said multiple times, the ending is good. And now we're going to do the ranking of all. We're going to do the ranking of all the books in this series. This is what I normally do in each of these reviews, where I just say, "Hey, this one's my least favorite. This third, fourth, second, and first." So, least favorite is obviously Hyrex. Honestly, Hyrex never stood a chance, because the others were highlighted by a great design or a good fight. This one was just average to me, and I was disappointed by it. Third place, we have Makoro. Good design. That's the only thing that's saving you, buddy. I know Lucas was excited for this book. I was too, but we were both disappointed by this one because we were expecting so much more from a beast that looks really good. And then we have that. Like, come on. Come on. We had plenty of chances and we get that. I wouldn't say it's a, complete and utter flop, but I would say it's not really worthy of being considered the best book of the series. Second place, we have Selkara, Monster of the Depths. Honestly, this is the example, the Series 30 example of don't judge a book by its cover. Selkara is the reason for that. And the reason why I say that is because, honestly, I looked at it and was like, really? Why does Myandra always get the beasts which look bad? And I say that because Series 28, Captiva, is the beast that Myandra fights. I don't like it. Series 29, Garox is the beast that Myandra fights. Not a big fan of it. And then she gets Selkara. By looks, I'm just like, great, another beast which I'm not going to like. I read it. Great, she has a beast which I like. It was long overdue for Myandra, and she really needed a beast which I liked, because otherwise I'm just going to see her as that person. But yeah. Anyway, my favourite is obviously Leptika and the Nocturnal Nightmare. There was no competition for Leptika being my favourite here. And it's probably going to stay my favourite of the series, unless Selkara does really good in a tournament. Anyway, that is Series 30, the Shapeshifters. To sum it up, it's just okay. I mean, I can't say it's bad because there are worse seasons. I can't say it's good either. I can compare this to two pairs of seasons. I can compare it to Series 28 and Series 29 for featuring the new Protectors, in which it's not as good as Series 29, but it's better than Series 28, in which case, pick your poison is in the middle. On the other hand, though, I can compare it to Series 9 and Series 16 for the shape-shifting part, in which I'll be like, okay, it's not as good as Series 9, but it's better than Series 16, in which case, say it with me, pick your poison is in the middle. Honestly, this series is average, and whilst my opinion on it has been set since I read Makoro, I knew it wouldn't be my favourite, but I was hoping Leptika and Selkara would save it for me, and luckily they did. Because otherwise, this would not be a very good end to Series 2. Honestly, this won't be a good end to a landmark of a series for Beast Quest, being Series 30. Anyway, as I said, I'll give my prediction on what I think is next for Beast Quest, in which the writers, what I think the best move for the writers is that they're going to take the feedback from series 28, 29, and 30, whether that's from reviews on the series as a whole on websites or even videos on YouTube, in which case most likely it will be my videos, Lucas's videos, and when they get to it, Jack Griffin's video on this series. But other people's videos reviewing this series and the others, in which case they'll see all the feedback and decide what the next best move is. Because Series 30 felt like it ended the arc of the new Protectors, but it left a bunch of questions. So it could continue. But with them, I don't know. What I would like to see is the next season. No, what I think will happen though is the next season has the new protectors independently with no help whatsoever taking down the next four beasts, defeating them in the Netherworld. Because it will seem kind of fitting where they were rescued in the Netherworld and then they go back to the Netherworld to defeat beasts of the Netherworld. Whether they're trapped there because their weapons opened up a portal where they get sucked in, or something else like that. I don't know. But that's what I think is going to happen. My opinion on that? I mean, it'll be interesting. But I'm not a big fan of the Netherworld. Bear in mind, Series 28 was not a good series for me. So, unless Series 31 will be able to save the Netherworld as a region for me, I'm not going to be looking forward to it. But as for beasts wise, the beasts sound interesting. They're based on 4 of the 5 elements, and I reckon the 5th element, being air, is going to be merged in with either the water or the fire element, which would make sense. Probably the fire element. Names, I can't remember them, but I know there's a water dragon, a stone warrior, a fire hawk, hence the air element, and what's the other element? Earth, wind, fire. I can't remember the other element. There's ice. Yes, there we are. Ice. And I believe it's an ice wolf. So we might get a Lycaxa 2.0 here, which I am really looking forward to, by the way. But yeah, the names of the beasts sound interesting because I don't have pictures yet, but the names sound interesting. The name of the series sounds interesting. The one I'm not looking forward to is ironically the finale being the Stone Warrior, but the others sound interesting and might make it a good ending for them. However, what I want to happen is that from now on, the Beast Quest writers are going to do a series on and a series off focused around each of these heroes. So we're going to do Series 31 with the new protectors, Series 32 with Tom, Alina, Storm, and Silver, Series 33, new protectors, Series 34, Tom, Alina, Storm, and Silver. If they do it like that, I think that would be a way to keep new fans and old fans happy. Because there's some people like me and Lucas who started reading Beast Quest from Series 1 who are attached to our heroes, but we don't want to say goodbye to them. But in which case, there are some other people who got into Beast Quest, let's say in Series 28, in which they're new to these new characters, the new protectors, in which they would like to see them progress onwards. And some old fans, myself included, would like to see them progress onwards as well. And maybe think it might be a good time to retire our old heroes. Bid farewell to Avantia and move on to Tangala. If that does happen, I would like a proper send-off for Tom, Alina, Storm, and Silver, because they've had tons of great adventures. Myself and Lucas grew up reading these series, and if they are going to be retired, I would like a proper send-off, because at the moment I'm not satisfied with that ending, or if that is their last appearance. But I don't know what Lucas's opinion on this is, but hopefully he will say his opinion in his review. But with that being said, I think I took enough of your time here. That's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down below. Join me in my next video, which I don't know what I'll be doing on my main channel, but on Lucas's channel, but also the archive channel. Not sure which one it is. I'm going to look into trying to at least get it uploaded on the archive channel. I'm going to be doing a collaboration with Lucas in which we're going to be ranking all 30 seasons of Beast Quest from our least favorite to favorites. Lucas will be doing it on the story perspective, and I'll be doing it on the Beast perspective. It'll be a live stream where we'll be going through all of them in one sitting. This is probably going to be 2 hours long, maybe 3. And also we're going to be finding out each other's favourite book of each series. Because my opinion has changed from the classic series and some recent ones as well. Luke says I haven't got the foggiest idea on them. But yeah, join me in that next collaboration. And until then, I'll see you next time.